Hi, this is ISU Athletic Director Jeff Tingey. It's Monday, May the 8th. This is my 14th podcast of 2017, and we have an exciting and fun day today. I have invited for all of our fans and all of our former athletes someone that they love and enjoy and have great fond feelings for. I'd like to welcome our Senior Associate Athletic Director and Senior Women's Administrator, Nancy Graziano.
Thank you, Jeff. Just happy to be here with you
today. Welcome to the show. I want to start off without going into too many details. Last week or the week before that, Nancy hit a milestone in her life with a birthday. And last week, as a department, we surprised her with a department-wide surprise party. How did that go for you, Nancy?
That was probably one of the biggest surprises I've ever experienced, Jeff, and it was just beautiful. It was a week after my birthday, and that milestone that Jeff's talking about, it was a milestone. When someone turns 70 years old, all of a sudden you feel really old. And so I didn't want to have any kind of celebration. I just wanted it to kind of come quickly and pass me by. And I had made plans to just have a dinner with my friends, then it's a week after. There was nothing about my birthday that I was thinking about in finals week, and the department and the people, you and all the people I work with, I couldn't believe when I walked into this emergency meeting that Jeff called us to. I thought, I got to go to this, and I hope everything's okay. And Jeff usually tells me what we're going to have on these things, so if he needs any assistance, I can help him. So it was last minute, so I knew Jeff had it all worked out, and I walked in there, and everyone was there with a surprise and into happy birthday. It made me cry. It was just beautiful, and I'll tell you, it's been a cap off for my 70th birthday.
Well, you know what? A couple of us had to do a little bit of repenting. We told a few lies to get you there to make sure. Jim was feeling pretty bad as well, but that was pretty fun. There were a lot of moving parts, a lot of groups, but it was neat. And so for that was our great way to say happy birthday and to let you know how much we love and appreciate you. You've worked here. How many years have you worked here now?
32 and about 32 years. And I came as the assistant basketball coach, so in my current position, it's probably only been about 27.
So yeah, tell us about about yourself. How did you get to ISU? How did you transition into this position?
Okay, I started my career graduating from Cal State Northridge and then teaching at a high school in the San Fernando Valley, Alemany High School. And I loved teaching, and I coached also. I coached volleyball, basketball, and softball. And that was the era when I was finishing and starting was when Title IX was just coming. And so women's sports were starting to not just have it be a recreation, GAA type of thing. It was actually you could go play different schools. Well, I found that I really like coaching, not only teaching, because it's like coaching your honor students. So in my coaching career, as the 70s go on and Title IX hits better speed, now my young women on my team were able to get scholarships. So college coaches were coming. And I'm in my early 30s, and I had some pretty good players at the time, and we were pretty successful. And so it was like, I just thought to myself, I think I want to go to the college level. So I never finished my master's. So I thought, I'll look around, and sure enough, there was an opening. Mark French hired me, and as an assistant coach here at Idaho State, I loved it, worked on my master's. Then Randy Hoffman, who was the athletic director at the time, said, we're going to start a student support. The NCAA felt it was important that campuses have someone that's just thinking about their academics to take a little of that away from the coaches. And I was there as the assistant coach, and my master's was done, and so anyway, I applied for that position, and then I got to start working as the senior women administrator and working with academics, and all of a sudden I thought, I'm going to miss coaching because I loved it so much. But you know what? It was like I was an academic coach instead of a actual sports coach, and so I didn't miss it. But to this day, Jeff, if someone says coach, sometimes I will turn around, even though it's been years. But I am so proud of the opportunity to be at Idaho State, to coach student athletes academically in the sense of coaching, because when we started, there was just myself, and we wanted to make sure, working with the coaches, that they got their degree. And so getting their degree was so critical, and then making sure they're in the right classes. And NCAA rules was, as you know, with the graduation rates, they were putting more and more emphasis on the students being successful. So my role was just minor in working with the students to just help make sure they were on track. And I just started to do that, and I've loved it every minute. When I first came as assistant basketball coach, it was to come to coach and then maybe go back to California to my home and family. I didn't know a soul in Pocatello. And it didn't take long to feel so welcome here in Idaho State that now feels like home, and it is home for me. So
Yeah,
that's
long time home.
Long time home. I am.
You've lived in Pocatello longer than most people who live in Pocatello.
I know when people say where you're from, I do say California still, but I feel that Pocatello is my home. So.
Wow. Well, I was thinking about this. Currently we've got just over 300 student athletes, and that kind of equates to about 75 new athletes every year. 75 athletes a year for 32 years, that's about 2,000 athletes that you've had a chance to work with, and that's quite the number. I mean, that's very incredible. In talking to those athletes, those 2,000, those that I get a chance to talk to, and they all have good experiences at the university, and they all have bad experiences at the university. Sometimes, they conflict with teammates or roommates or coaches or staff members, but I haven't heard a single one ever have anything negative to say about Nancy Graziano. Why is that, Nancy?
Oh, I don't know, but it makes me feel really good, because each one of those students that you talk about has impacted my life in very deep and real ways. My career has been long, but it's been really blessed because of the individuals that have come into it. When I started teaching, when I was going to college, I taught PE classes at a grade school, and then I went in to teach at Alamany High School, and I coached, and I still keep in touch with them because they were just special. But when I came here and didn't know anyone, and those student athletes were coming on my team those 5 years that I was coaching, and then now as I've helped them academically, Jeff, it is just so rewarding, because students keep you young. And I think maybe that's helped me to be doing, people start to ask me, when are you going to retire? And I know that it's getting closer, and I will, because of the students and how special they have been to me, it's going to be hard not to be seeing them every day, but part of them will always be with me because of the impact they've had on me and my growth professionally. So if I can make a difference in their lives too, that's really what it's about for me.
That's pretty nice to hear. And for all of our fans listening in, once a week on Tuesdays, actually, we have a senior staff meeting where all of the, myself and all of the assistant athletic directors and some other staff members, we get together and we discuss the needs of the department, the needs of the student athletes, and some of the meetings are quick and to the point, others are long and belated, and others are heated with conversations here and there. But one of the things that never fails is we'll be discussing an issue, maybe a policy change, maybe something to do a little bit different, and Nancy always asks the question, will this be good or bad for the student athlete? How will it affect them? How does that relate to what you do here at ISU?
I just think that their welfare is important to all of us, and I guess we all, when we come together, just to use this example that you bring up, when we all come together, there's different ways to look at whatever we're discussing, but we're here because of the students. So the decisions we make, we want to make sure that we make them for the right reasons and for the students. So that's kind of where all of us are, and if I can help steer us so that we're not afraid to ask the difficult questions to do that, I'm just grateful for that opportunity. And students that we have now have certain needs that they are similar, but they have a lot of other needs that are a little different. So it's been really fun over the years to grow. And I think that's been something that I attribute to my dealing with students, because they are always challenging and they're so honest and so open that if we aren't doing right by our students, then we're not, in my opinion, and I know we share that, Jeff, that we want them to know that we care about them and their experience here means a lot to us. So I think on our meetings when we make all these decisions, that they're for our students and they're our number one gift, and we want to see them come here, get their education, be successful on whatever sport they're in, and then to leave us with their degree. And this time of the year, as graduation weekend has just passed us, and all the celebrations that we've had for the graduating seniors, I think that's why your original question about us in our decisions on welfare of the student athletes, it's just so easy because how important they are to us as students.
Oh, good. Nancy, your job, and for many of us in the department, we wear a lot of different hats. We've got different jobs. You've got responsibilities and compliance in academics as the SWA. For all of our listeners, what does an average day for you consist of?
Well, I have wonderful people that work right alongside me. I mentioned to you when I started, I was just by myself doing academics and compliance, and that really had challenges because there's just so much in each of those areas. One person can't do it justice. So hearing that I've made a difference in people's life, knowing sometimes that I could hardly get everything done and didn't get everything done. But now what a day's like when I come into the office and I'm greeted by a staff of all of us that are in there in all areas. The coaches are nearby. But I'd like to just maybe tell you a little bit about our academic and our compliance staff. I have Matt Stewart, who oversees all the academics now, and he does such a wonderful job with Phil Pleasant and Mike Lacey in the advising roles of all the different student athletes, and I feel I'm behind the scenes assisting them, even though at one point I was maybe the lead in that area as far as feeling, we had to call this person or that person and do that. Now they're just taking that lead, and together we have kind of a team approach, and Matt's leadership has really given us solid academics. And as you know, a year ago, we were blessed enough to have Joel Vickery come back and join us in compliance, and he brings just a load of experience in...
Steve's messing us up here. Steve, come on now. How does that happen?
Joel brings to the table so much compliance experience, Jeff, that to me, we have Cody Sparrow with him and myself, so I kind of supplement what they're doing. So that's part of the day. And then we have James Izar, who, when he was in student affairs for all these years, and I was, kind of a little one staff person, he was my go-to person. So now he's still our go-to person, and he does so much to allow our student athletes to bridge all the resources we have on this wonderful campus, and he just makes sure that our students have some of those academic needs. So all those people's names who I just mentioned, they're key in my daily when I come to work. I come to work, do the paperwork, and then there's one thing that I haven't mentioned. Being with all of them is the fun part. Meeting with my students is the fun part. But we have tons of meetings that I have to go to, and a little bit of exaggeration. Not every day is full with a lot of meetings, but I think a lot of my time is spent at meetings, but then I'm able to gather more information to bring it back to the staff and to everyone and the students. So that's pretty much it. But then we go to games at the evenings at times. We make sure that all the paperwork that is necessary for the student athletes and their successes, and tutoring, to make sure that all the connections with tutoring is there. And so kind of when you say day to day, it's kind of tricky because the day's full, but every day's different. And I think that's what I love about it. And sometimes you have to really do a little prioritizing and make sure you get all the critical things done, but new things just keep coming in that kind of take your time, and I just love that. And then if a student has a issue and I'm available, that really, my calendar changes. We work around that so that we can make sure that we can address whatever they have coming. So.
Talking about your staff members, Matt, Mike, Phil, Bird, Haley, Joel, all of them, all the way through, Cody, Holden. It's obvious that each of them have some leadership abilities in them. Some of them came, just as natural or innate, that's already in them. But it seems very obvious to me and to the rest of our staff that you, as a leader of our department in general, and compliance and academics and student success, that you have kind of shared your leadership with them and helped them to grow so that they can take over those areas. You'd mentioned that you were leading at one point, and now that they've grown into it to the point where they can do things without needing to be guided wherever they go. Sorry, that's a long lead-in. I see you as a leader. I've seen your leadership grow and help other people. How do you see yourself as a leader?
I'd like to feel that I am a leader, and I feel I am. And sometimes when, as a leader, you've set certain things up, but I've always told myself, Jeff, that a good leader will listen. And I think I really try to be that person that can listen. So when you let a little bit of academics go to Matt, and you just watch him go and run with it, I hoped I never would be that person that was going to nag at him to do it the way that I used to do it. Now, that's not right here to say anything, but I think we've had our talks that I think I've tried to let him know over the years how much I trust him and how much I want him to just take it to that next level. And he has done that in so many ways because he's our number guy, if you will. He's been able to give data so we can make even better decisions about how much we want to help our students. Well, I could sense through my leadership that we needed help in this area because I looked at the grades and we were doing pretty good here, but this isn't so good. We had to make sure we had enough resources there to help there. But now we have data so we can make better statements, and that's because of Matt and his staff. And so my leadership style has been really good to do that. And then, like when we have a thing where we have to make sure that everybody gets into summer school if they need it, we call it going through their transcripts and we crunch the numbers. Now sometimes Matt's telling me along with everybody else, okay, Nancy, here's your group, here's that. I just love to do it because it gets done. So being a leader doesn't mean you have to be the one that's calling all the shots. I've really tried to let Matt just run with it, and he knows I'm there to assist him, and then that frees me up to take care of issues that need my attention as an administrator. Now, having Joel on board gives me the same concept about compliance, and that, of course, as you know, is so critical to the success of our program, just in a different way than academics, but it affects our student athletes and the entire university. We've got to follow the rules, and you have to be aware of them, and it's education. And so watching Joel and his leadership style and stepping back and letting him take over with Cody's assistance, it's been wonderful. And to go to the education meetings and have him hit on all the new things and review and when things need to be improved, watching that, it just makes my leadership be kind of a support, if you will, because when I stop coming to Idaho State every day, I'm going to know that Idaho State is in good hands with the hiring of people like Matt and Jeff. So, and then I think that for me, what I always get fascinated by is how much our athletic department and athletic departments around the country have changed. I don't know if I ever told you, when I came and started compliance, I had a little NCAA manual, and it was this size, and probably only about that thick. Now, the NCAA manual is this size, this thick, and they've been condensing it down a little bit with some deregulations of things. So
it's smaller type.
It's smaller type. And so it's amazing how much you have to stay on top of things, both in the academic worlds and in the NCAA world. So that, to me, is important, that we keep doing the right thing. And so my leadership, when you don't do some of the little day-to-day things and you let a few of those go and you have others make decisions, you still have other areas that you're assisting, and I truly have enjoyed doing that, so that it makes a difference, that we're proud of our athletic department and the people in it, and we hope that the university is proud of us in the academic arena, that they know athletics isn't just an area where people come and participate in their sports, because those student athletes you talked about, we want them to come, they're coming to college on a scholarship many times, walk on, whatever it is, doesn't matter to us as far as in my area. Sometimes you don't even know if they're on scholarship or not. They're just coming here to get their education and interact on our campus and not just be isolated within their sport. And that is part of what we've tried to provide for their welfare in the leadership that all the staff in academics and compliance do, along with the coaches, because part of what my day to day is to be able to assist our coaches, and that's an area I will always treasure, the amount of coaches that have come in and out of my life since I've been to Idaho State, and the special men and women they have been as I've been able to work with their student athletes, and you just feel like you're a part of the team, and all the work that all of our coaches do for our students. So that has been a real meaningful part for me, and the pride I have with Idaho State and what we've accomplished is together. It's a team effort.
Oh, good. One final question. I don't want to keep you too long. I know you're busy, but we just got done with graduation, like we mentioned. It's kind of the pinnacle for us. So nice to have these athletes come in. We see them as freshmen. They've just left their parents. They've come to us as surrogate parents, grown up, graduated, ready to move on. A few years ago, under your leadership and someone else's, not me, we started, or the department started, a student-athlete graduation party, something to recognize them for their hard work. Can you tell us about that just a little bit?
Oh, I'd be happy to, Jeff. It's the best activity that we have when we give our student athletes their senior blanket at what we call their graduation reception. Paul Bubba was the athletic director. When he was here, he had a little reception outside in his home, and coincidentally, his home was kind of kitty-cornered from where I live, and it was really nice because it was in his backyard, and it backs up to the Highland Golf Course, and so after he left and you became the athletic director, I said, Jeff, one of the nicest things was when Paul had the graduating seniors up. Do you think it's a good idea that we continue it? And you just jumped on it and gave us the go. So we've done it, and for the last 10, 11 years that we've been working together doing it. And when you see the parents, the grandparents, the brothers and sisters, and the pride on their face that they've driven from wherever they've come through around, and for some of us who meet them on their recruiting visits, and they say, and we may have seen them at a home game or an away game, but when they're there beaming ear to ear about their son or daughter's graduation, it's just, the backyard is just loaded with energy of excitement and pride. So when we had it just on Friday, it is a team effort. And people come up to me and say, oh, Nancy, thanks for the graduation. I said, no, they know it's from the athletic department, but I just happen to have a home that has a nice, big backyard that opens up on a golf course, and I'm just so proud to have been able to host it. But we have it down where we've got a crew that brings in the tables and decorates, and Donna Hayes does a terrific job of making a theme for our tables. And some years in Pocatello, you never know how the weather is.
Boy, it can be brutal.
We've had some rains and then it opens up and stops, but this year, Friday, the sun was out, it was beautiful. So I think it really captured that wonderful energy of our student athletes who are graduating. We have that bingo head they run through for every game backed up there with pictures, and parents coming up to all of us saying how thankful they are that their student athletes came to Idaho State, and they see that their lives have changed, and they've changed in such a positive way. So that means so much to us, and I always try to invite some of our graduates, and then, you know, even when our graduates see things on our homepage, they say, boy, and these are ones that have graduated a while ago, boy, I wish you would have done that when we were here. And I says, well, I do too, but I haven't been living on the golf course that long, so now we have the setting, and I think I said to you, even if I'm not actually working at Idaho State in my current position, I would love to be a part of this in the future, just because it's so special. And if it isn't up at my home, it's somewhere. But at the same time, I don't think we're going to stop that tradition in the near future, because the student athletes and their families truly come together in a setting where they're comfortable and they're relaxed. They get to visit and they get to celebrate their accomplishments.
Well, you know, the feeling that's at that event, you know, especially this last year, and I'm sure good weather probably added to it, but we had, 160 people at it, a lot of happiness, a lot of smiles, friends getting together, enjoying company. You could tell that there was a lot of love at that event, and I think you take all of those feelings and put them together, and that's what we feel when we think of you in our department. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate this opportunity, and working with you and all the people currently in the department and the people that were ahead of you. It's been my life, and I've loved it every minute of it. So.
Well, good. We're going to keep that. We're going to keep it going. Nancy talked about retirement. I'm not sure if we're going to allow that to happen right now.
Well, and I don't want it to happen right away. So.
Not right now, but whenever that happens, we may have to chain you to the door and keep you here.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff.
Yeah, I appreciate having you. Thanks to all of our listeners and viewers. Great week. Student athletes have gone home for the summer. It's that take a deep breath and catch up time for a lot of us in athletics, although there are 2 sports still remaining, both of them going to conference championships this week. The softball team goes to Ogden for the Big Sky Softball Championship. The track and field team goes to Sacramento. So keep an eye on those. There should be live video and live scoring for both of those on the Big Sky Conference website. Cheer on your Bengals. Again, thank you for joining us today and this week. Appreciate having Nancy here. Have a great day, and go Bengals.
Thanks.